You see, there's no such thing in life at all of neutrality. Neutrality is one of those things that doesn't really exist. People pretend it exists because it makes them feel better, but there's really no such thing as a neutral state. It's not the nature of man. You're getting better or you're getting worse. It's the bottom line. We have made a mistake culturally in this country, a gigantic mistake. And I'll be honest with you, I was part of that mistake. For so long, I made the mistake of saying things like this. Well, look, hey, I don't care what they do. I'm just going to do what I do, and I'm not going to worry about what they do. Or maybe we've said this, maybe you've said this, maybe you're still saying things like this. I know I've said this before. When it comes to things like schools, maybe you've said, I don't want the politics in school. No politics. I just want them to learn math and reading. Get the politics out of school. Have you ever said that? You're dead wrong if you've said that. I was dead wrong when I've said it. You see, we've bought into this myth forever on the right that there's such a thing as just this neutral culture. There's separation of church and state. We don't have religion. We don't have a culture. We're just free. Everything's free. We don't have values or anything. There are no values. No values. We've bought into it forever. We bought into it in schools. And the communists sat back and watched us say, there's just no values anywhere. And he licked his chops like a hungry lion looking at a wounded gazelle limping across the Serengeti. You're going to have values pushed. Any society is going to have values pushed. There's no such thing as a neutral, valueless society where people just float around and land wherever. No, as a society, you're going to push things, and whatever you push, you're going to get more of. And you're going to disincentivize things, and whatever you disincentivize, you're going to get less of. The communist has understood this forever. The communist, you see, he has values too. And to his credit, he believes in those values all the way, and even more to his credit, he fights for those values. The communist wants his values pushed everywhere. That's why they're now pushed everywhere. You and me, we've spent decades saying, let's just take the politics out of it. And now we're nowhere. That's why he's winning and we're losing. And that's why we have to change our mindset. You look at videos like this circus freak I'm about to show you, and you say, oh man, how did this happen? Watch the video and I'll tell you how it happened.
Hi, I'm a queer teacher, and I 1000% do not support this bill. And yes, I do know what's in it. The bill in itself is just another way to stigmatize the LGBTQ plus community. Say that pre-K through third grade are not ready for such topics is actually internalized homophobia and transphobia. We're very much ready for these topics and are way more accepting than adults when it comes to discussing these topics. We can talk about gender assumptions, pronouns, all the things.
You're cringing right now. Maybe you're vomiting in the trash can sitting beside you, but we need to have a talk about this. How does that happen? How does that super freak get in charge of children? How could that possibly happen? Well, it happened because you and me, we believed in this live and let live, absurd, naive mindset where we can just take the politics out of schools. No, there's no such thing as neutrality. Not in your life, not in a culture. Your culture is going to go a certain direction. It's never just going to float. It is going to go a certain direction, and the direction it goes is going to be determined by which direction the people are pushing. Forever, the communists have pushed and pushed and pushed, and we have live and let lived. And now we have a conga line of circus freaks educating our children.
Man, y'all thought me teaching the children about me being poly was crazy. But not only that, but they also know that I'm gender fluid. I also explained to them that I'm pagan, so I am also a witch. And at one point, I had gotten a haircut, and I gotten the sides of my mohawk shaved down. And I come into work, and one of the children goes, Lois, are you a boy? You have short hair. And his sister goes, no, Lois is a girl. And a third child, who's my favorite, suddenly yells, no, guys, we've been over this. Lois isn't a boy or a girl. Lois is a witch. Duh.
How could that happen? Okay, well, maybe you're sitting there saying, Jesse, okay, you found two circus freaks on TikTok. That doesn't mean we have a problem. It doesn't mean we've shrunk too far from the culture war. Okay, here's the White House press secretary pushing for puberty blockers.
Every major medical association agrees that gender-affirming healthcare for transgender kids is a best practice and potentially life-saving.
That's the highest levels of U.S. government now believe a 10-year-old boy should be able to chop his penis off. That doesn't happen overnight. That doesn't happen for any other reason than we have been way too gentle and way too meek pushing the values we want pushed. Your child, wherever he goes, whether it be school, martial arts practice, Little League, Cub Scouts, wherever your child goes, your child is going to be given instructions. He's going to be guided. He's going to be guided by a human being, not some robot somewhere. And because he's going to be guided by a human being, he is going to be pushed a certain direction. There is no neutral. There will not be any neutrality. Your child will be pushed a certain direction. He's either going to be pushed with your values in that direction, or he's going to be pushed by those freaks. The right's belief that we can somehow sit this out and just be a neutral floating society is the reason we now have a bunch of monsters educating our children in this country. We have got to set aside this disgusting, wrong attitude we have had forever. And again, I am not pointing fingers. I am just as guilty. I had that live and let live mentality for so long. I just want to be left alone and let's let them learn math. No, the truth is your children should be learning how to be pro-life in school. Does that make you uncomfortable? Why? Your children should be learning that the border should be secure in school. You uncomfortable? Why? Those are your values. You can either have them learn about the border being secure and the need to keep out illegal immigrants, or they will learn about the border being open and how we need to be so compassionate to all the people who want to flood this country. You have to decide what you're comfortable with. And if those things I just brought up make you uncomfortable, you need a mindset change because you're not near ready for the fight we have ahead of us to save this country.